One of the keys from an entrepreneur standpoint when we get up in the morning is saying, look, you know what, if my entire day is about servicing clients, if my entire day is about solving people's problems in what I do from a 12, 14 hour day perspective, it almost goes without saying that the state in which you're in as you deal with these clients makes all the difference in the world. Because we've all encountered that we've been to see a bank manager one day and all of a sudden he's in a great state, you feel like dealing with him, you can feel that genuinely he cares more about your interest than what the bank is going to get out of the transaction. And then suddenly you walk back to him the next day and for whatever reason, maybe you might have had a personal argument, maybe you might have had an issue happening with him on the way to work or with one of his staff members, and then suddenly you meet the same person who's in a completely different state and you change their opinion completely of that person. Now, has that person changed that core? No. And one of the key aspects when it comes to dealing with clients in particular is that it's not their fault that stuff's happening to you in your world. Because you see, it's interesting because small business has this psychology sometimes that says, oh look, you know, the big business, it's really hard to compete with them. And I always say, if you look at just about every research that's out there, people prefer to deal with small business and bigger organizations for one simple reason, that you get the person generally that owns the business, you get direct contact with them. So if you build a relationship with that business, you have that same person again and again for years to come. The problem with it is that most consumers' number one priority is to build a relationship with the business, because obviously the business is adding more value as compared to what they're paying for the services or the problem they're getting solved. But if the same type of research also says that people prefer consistency way above relationship, because there's nothing worse. We've got enough going on in our lives that if we go and see someone that provides us services or products, if they're a Jekyll and Hyde every time we see them, it makes it very difficult to predict the type of relationship we're going to run long term. So that's why in a lot of cases, bigger business wins, even though they can provide probably that level of relationship, they'll win on the other side. So what does that mean for the entrepreneur? Pretty simply, the way you turn up in front of your client every day is not important, it's everything. The client needs to have predictability in who you are. And that doesn't mean stuff doesn't happen. It just means that stuff, when you're in front of your client, it's not his fault that stuff's happened in your world. So what I do generally is I've got a little pattern before I even wake up in the morning. I think, you know what, if this is going to be a day I live, it's going to be a day that I want to know I left it out there and I was able to be there for my clients, or I was able to be there at my best all the time. So I've got a little routine, and mine's pretty unusual being Latino and everything. And my routine's basically, you know, I've got a song that I really like and I'll do that. And, you know, at times, you know, I'll go to the gym in the morning, and by the time I step out of that door, that first second, I know that my client gets me at my optimal place. And that doesn't mean, you know, deliriously happy, and that doesn't mean, you know, motivation, as most people like to say. It's just saying that I prepare myself, because you give them that level of respect that if the client's paying for your services or paying for your goods, they deserve to get you at your best. And at least you never look back at any interaction that you've had with a client and say, hang on a minute, you know, I didn't get that deal, or I didn't manage to build that relationship because of this, because you go to bed at night and you think to yourself, you know what, if it didn't come through, maybe my value proposition didn't meet his requirements, and you should be okay with that. You should go to sleep really at ease with that. One thing you shouldn't go at ease with is if you, at some level, there's this seed in your mind that you go, you know what, I think that problem that I had this morning with, you know, your wife or you know, that employee really affected who I was, and, you know, I don't know if he would have got me at the optimal me, would I not been able to build that good relationship with that client, and you know, at the end of the day, you know, be able to get the type of clients that I want. So your state you can predict and you should control. That's the most important thing you have to do as a business person. You have to have a methodology on how you get yourself to that optimal state.